Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. Welcome to the live post-game show. Miami Hurricanes fall 74-71 to Virginia. We're going to have Zoom calls with Coach Larranaga and players afterwards. I would just want to make sure we're set up here as we just got allowed in the room. There's a lot to get to with this game. Definitely drop in the comments. Let me know what you think about this one. You know, what were the big factors for Miami losing? There's definitely things I'd like to get to. Some things that stood out to me, but I just want to make sure we're set up here. So Miami loses, drops to 19-8, 11-5. They had a chance to get into, a tie for second place in the ACC with Notre Dame losing earlier in the day. We'll definitely check the ACC scoreboard. Big one going on right now with Duke playing. So it was tough from a Miami standpoint where they lead by 10 early in the second half. And that 22-4 run certainly was pivotal. Both ends of the court were really struggling for Miami, unable to defend. Virginia, who ended up shooting really well in the second half. They shoot 62%. Certainly, that's way too high for Miami to be able to allow that and to go ahead and win the game. And then from an offensive standpoint, they just weren't able to get things going, weren't in a good rhythm. Again, 38% in the second half. They shoot 41% in the game. So looking at it here, there's a couple things. Obviously, you got to get more production from Isaiah Wong. There were things that I noticed that Virginia was doing. I will get to that after Coach talks. I don't want to miss that. And then also, Charlie Moore, difficult game overall, made some buckets late, but certainly not a good enough performance from him as well. If you're new to live post-game show, again, we're going Zoom post-game comments from Coach Larranaga, and hopefully we get some players. Sometimes after losses, we're not able to get players, so we'll see. Definitely, there's still plenty to talk about. Just looking at, again, four guys in double figures. From a Miami standpoint, Kameron McGusty leads the way with 20 points. I thought he was good all around. A good performance by Cam, just not enough from a defensive standpoint from Miami. Jaden Gardner was a guy that had been really good for Virginia, and Miami was kind of able to hold him down the first time these two teams played, but Jaden really got it going and really made it difficult for Miami. He makes 9 of 14 shots, the 23 points, a game high. Certainly made it difficult. That fadeaway I thought was big. I thought that was one of the biggest shots in the game, particularly for Virginia, that he makes that fadeaway with 1:39 left to put them up by 8. They'd already been leading, but just this 8-point lead with a minute and a half to go is tough to come back from. It's disappointing in this loss.
To
There's
make
no
it
doubt
full
about
screen and
that.
then unfull screen it from ESPN. Sometimes it's happening. It's weird. It's the most random fucking thing. Yeah.
So we're just waiting here. We got Zoom call is kind of making that noise there. But anyways, it's just difficult. Virginia's a team that doesn't score a bunch of points. To give up 74 points in this one was disappointing. I think there are some things that Miami needs to definitely clean up down the stretch. I know everyone's excited about this team, trying to make the NCAA tournament, first time since 2018. They've got to tighten up on some certain areas, and I think, Virginia, there were things that they were doing that I think teams down the stretch will try to do against Miami, some things that made things difficult from a Miami standpoint when they had the ball. And I think that's certainly something to watch for. And it's kind of a trend. Florida State, they lose both games, both meetings to Florida State, and then both games to Virginia. These are two teams that are known for its defensive prowess. This is what they hold their head on. So I think Miami struggling against these teams that play really good defense is something to keep an eye on moving forward. So Virginia was able to make some adjustments in the second half. Miami had that nice run to go up by 8 at halftime, 38-30. But just, they get up by 10, they make a bucket early in the second half, and then just Virginia really ran away from it. And Miami got it within 3. They hit a three-pointer late. They got it within 4, but they made a nice run to get back into the game, but just not able to get over the hump and get the lead back. So ever since that big run, Miami was chasing. It's not something you want to do at home. Certainly they let this one slip away. Next game is at Pittsburgh on Tuesday. And, Pittsburgh's not a team at the top, but certainly they're a team that can give Miami troubles anytime you go on the road. looking at the ACC standings here, Miami does have the best road record in the ACC at 7-2, so definitely a good sign. They've played really well on the road. That's definitely a good sign. It's definitely important. We've talked about that all season, so they've got a good one coming up that they'll try to get back on track. The loss snaps a 3-game winning streak for Miami. Miami has not beat Virginia since 2017. It's 6 straight losses to the Cavaliers. This was the season to hopefully, from a Miami standpoint, to get that back, because Virginia is not as good as they've been in recent years, clearly, but still they're threatening, and they've won 5 of 6, so they improved to 17-10, 11-6 in the ACC, just behind Miami at 11-5, and all of a sudden this is really going to be quite a battle down the stretch with these top 6 teams battling for those 4 spots. Again, Miami at 11-5 has 4 games left to try to secure a top 4 spot. We talked about that all the time because you get 2 byes in the ACC tournament. Here's Coach Larranaga.
Give me 1 second, Coach. We'll just give us 1 second. We'll give people some permission to record here.
Hello.
Jane, are you recording?
I need permission to record. I was just about to chat you.
Recording in progress.
Got it. All right, Coach, whenever you're ready, if you'd like to start with an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions.
Well, I thought we played a terrific first half, scored 40 points in the first half, and had a 10-point lead. But the start of the second half, Virginia really took over. Kihei Clark in particular just took over the game. They ran off a 19-4 run. I called the earliest timeout this season and maybe ever when I called it with 17 minutes left in the half. But I saw the signs and certainly hoped that we could correct it, but nothing really went well for us for a while. And we fought back, but they did a lot of good things to, make free throws and make some baskets and get some stops.
If you have questions for Coach L, please use the hand raise function. Wait to be called on. We'll start with Chris Stock from InsideTheU. Chris.
Coach, what do you think of your team defensively in the second half? They shoot over 60%. What would you see from your defense?
Well, both times we've played them, the way they run their offense makes it very difficult for us to trap them and force turnovers. And when we're not able to do that, our defense has never been, one that can just play man-to-man and just guard guys. Their offense and their defense work very well against us, and that's why we've struggled against them throughout the years.
Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald.
Jim, during that timeout, what did you tell the team at that point? What was your message to them?
I told them Virginia had become the aggressor, and we were not playing with the same kind of level of energy and intensity that we did in the first half. And if we didn't pick it up, this is going to be just like it was at their place.
Go to Kip Coons.
Yeah, Jim, why does Jaden Gardner seem to be a matchup problem for a lot of teams? Not just your guys tonight, but a lot of teams.
No, Jaden Gardner is an outstanding offensive player. He's got probably the best shooting touch 15 feet and in that I've seen. And it's so quick a release. It's very, very hard to bother him. And he's got a beautiful shooting touch. He's a great free throw shooter, so you can't foul him and put him on the foul line. So,
Obviously, this was a game you guys really wanted. We talked yesterday about getting 20 wins and all that. What happened in the second half? They shot 62.5% in the second half. You guys were up by 10, and then they went on a 23-4 run. Was that them, or was that you guys not defending well? What do you think happened there?
Yeah, I think that's us. We had to take accountability, be responsible for that. The energy wasn't as good as it should have been coming out. They made a good adjustment. However, we had to adjust to their adjustment. It just gives us something, to keep striving to be better at. Use it as fuel, never take, a loss to the heart, on to the next one. And most importantly, just put it behind us.
What was the halftime message? You said you didn't come out with great energy in the second half. What was the halftime message?
Basically to keep our foot on the gas. We got up to an 8-point lead at halftime. Coaches were telling us, don't let up, don't let up, don't let up. Respect to UVA, they hit some shots, they hit some good shots. But we just got to be better at the end of the day.
Luke Cheney from the Miami Hurricane.
Hey, Jordan, you really seem to get it going there towards the end. Can you just talk a little bit about your second half performance?
Yeah, I just was trying to be aggressive. I feel like the more aggressive I am, the better we are as a team in whole. Obviously credit to my teammates for getting me the ball. But, it wasn't good enough. So, back to the drawing board, on to the next one. And, we look to, build some momentum going into this ACC tournament.
Go to Jane Huber, MiamiHurricanes.com. Jane, you're on mute.
Yeah. Hi, Jordan. I was just wondering what you think the team needs to do to regroup for the Pitt game moving forward.
Coach L made a good point. He said you got to treat wins and losses the same. It's just as if you win, it's on to the next game. You can't have that unbalance of, oh, the loss, we're going to hold it over our heads more or longer. So, just putting this game behind us, it's over with. All we can do is, just get back to just playing Miami basketball, playing together, fix up a little couple things on defense, so we don't start off second halves like that anymore. But I think it just mainly comes down to mental toughness and mental focus.
Back to Michelle.
Okay. Jordan, what is it about Virginia? I mean, you guys have beaten pretty much everybody else, or at least 1-point games or whatever with FSU, but Virginia's the one team that really seems to give you guys more trouble. What is it about them that you guys don't match up well with, you think?
They run a good offense. Obviously we just need to have a better game plan and attack the game plan better. But their offense, they have a great head coach. So, he knows what he's doing. He won a national championship, it really puts you in positions where, you kind of pick your poison, whether you want to help here or stay there. So, credit to UVA, but at the end of the day, we got to be better and find a way to get wins in these close games.
Thanks for your time. We'll have another player in shortly.
All set?
Yeah, you're good, Jordan.
Cool.
So that wraps up with Jordan Miller there. Definitely let me know in the comments if you guys were able to hear him as I'm working through this here. New setup with the post-game show, so that's why it's a little bit more difficult.
What was the post-game message? Is it what you just said there about the marathon sprint thing, or what did he tell you guys after this game?
He just said we got to put it behind us. It was a great college game. Of course, they went on their run in the second half. It's part of basketball, but we can't sit there and dwell on it. We got 4 games left. We still got other good teams to play, and then we got the ACC tournament, and hopefully the NCAA tournament. So, we still got we plan on still having a month of basketball left. So, just got to keep going. Like I said, don't put our head down. Don't dwell on the past. Just put it behind us, and stay together. We know what we're capable of, and just keep going.
Hi, Cam. I was wondering, to what do you attribute your success against UVA this season? You're Miami's leading scorer in both games. What do you think is the reason for that?
Just my teammates looking for me. I got going in the first half. In the first half, mostly off of assists. I only had 1 bucket. I felt like where I kind of had to create one. Our togetherness, the willingness to pass and share the ball with each other, that's, all the tribute to my success this year. I couldn't, do it without them. Charlie does a great job of finding me. Zay, Sam does a great job of initiating the offense up top. He's kind of Charlie and Sam are, kind of our point guards, even though Sam's more of he's a forward man, obviously, but we throw it to him at the top. At the top when we're in our 5-out series, so he initiates a lot of things for us, and it makes everything easier. My teammates just make my job a lot easier than it has been in the past. So just credit to them, coaches too, always keeping me confident. Never giving up on me. I've had bad games. I started the game off 0 for 6, 0 for 7, and I always just hear keep going. Don't stop shooting. Never any negativity from teammates and coaches. So I just got to give all the credit to them.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Everyone else, thank you as well.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
So it wraps up there with Cam McGusty, Jordan Miller, Coach Larranaga. Not real convinced on the audio here, but definitely let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up short. Just let me know here if you guys can hear out there. But definitely let me know. All right, I'm going to go for a little bit here. Some things that stood out to me. Again, hopefully you guys were able to hear everything. I'll definitely check everything for the next post-game show. Definitely want to do baseball soon too. But for this one, one of the things that stood out to me, so Isaiah Wong, let's start with him. Coming into the game, he had only scored 16 points against Virginia in his previous 3 games. There's only 3 games against Virginia. The 6-point earlier this year. He finished with 10 today, but a couple late. It didn't feel like a really good productive game from Isaiah. And what Virginia's doing is Miami likes to run a lot of ball screen type stuff for Isaiah. And instead of, either switching or whatever Virginia wanted to do on defending him, the big thing that they were doing was they were keeping the second guy there longer than normal. So it felt like Isaiah was facing a lot of double teams once the switch was made or once the ball screen was made. So it made it very difficult for him to penetrate off of that because, again, Miami's ball screen stuff, the pick and roll type stuff, they don't really roll or throw the ball off of that very often. It's usually to switch on mismatches. So and unless Miami really starts feeding the post or getting guys more involved on rolls, teams can do this where they can really stay on Isaiah in particular. And I thought Virginia was doing that was certainly in the game plan, not let Isaiah get going and get make things really difficult on Virginia's defense. And that's what you saw. I think it made it difficult. Again, Miami only 41.8% from the floor tonight. Isaiah had a quiet day. I wanted to ask Coach Larranaga about Charlie Moore foul trouble. It's starting to add up with Charlie. I wrote it down. So 6 of his last 13 games, he's had 4 or more fouls. And to me, that's way too much for a veteran point guard, a guy that's been around college basketball a really long time. Miami needs Charlie on the court as much as possible. And I think with him out, it takes not only the team out of rhythm, but it takes Charlie out of his game. He's not able to produce that, get into that rhythm that he likes. And I think he needs to be out there now. He's certainly aggressive. He leads the ACC in steals, definitely up there at the top there. But, that foul trouble stuff has to stop. And today was an example where he picked up his 4th with 9 minutes left. And that's just not a good spot to be picking up a lot of fouls. And, too early, missed quite a bit of time in the first half. Looking at here, we can look at the box score just for the first half. He only played 9 minutes, again, because of foul trouble. He picked up the 2 fouls and he comes right to the bench. So that's something that can be corrected. He's going to have to find a better line in terms of being aggressive, but also avoiding fouls. So that's just something to watch for moving forward. And I think these 2 guys, we've seen this with Miami. It's hard for them to win when they don't have at least 2 of the guys playing well of their top 3 guys. Jordan Miller played a nice game, got those buckets late, 15 points, 7 of 11. That was great. It's definitely great. But Miami's at its best when they've got their top 3 guys going. And I just didn't think that was enough. Charlie Moore didn't get his buckets until right at the end when they were essentially trading baskets. He did make a 3 there, But just after that, he made a couple layups where essentially the game had already been decided. So Charlie just needs to be better, better all around down the stretch. 4 games left. It's definitely key, for Miami that he plays well, the same way with Isaiah Wong. So those 2 guys are certainly key. Virginia makes it tough. They make it tough on a lot of people. It's just Miami's got to be able to figure this out when teams are very defensive-minded teams. And I think it's going to be a big factor moving forward with the postseason. ACC tournament starts March 8th, so just around the corner, just a few weeks away. And Miami's going to face teams that gear up against them. They're going to have a great game plan. It's not going to be one, especially the first matchup. They're going to know, their opponent's going to know what Miami does. And certainly they're going to be able to game plan around that. And these kind of games, other teams will certainly look to try to emulate, because Virginia's had success and Florida State as well. So, but on the flip side, Miami's not going to see these teams the rest of the regular season. They got a game at Pittsburgh coming up next. I do want to show that the ACC scoreboard here. Once again, Duke's in a big one, up 58-44, leading the ACC right now. North Carolina they were able to hang on and win a big game at Virginia Tech, who've been playing better lately. Syracuse won the early game, the noon game. That's an interesting game because Miami still plays Boston College and Syracuse the last 2 games of the regular season. Notre Dame lost, mentioned that earlier. Wake Forest, certainly a team that Miami's seen already twice. So very interesting. And Pitt's playing right now against Georgia Tech. That's, if you definitely want to watch Pitt, I'm sure Miami players are checking that out right now. Once they get away from the arena and everything kind of wind down, they might catch the second half there before they do their full, their full evaluation of film study. So kind of going back again, kind of my final takeaway is it's a lost opportunity. It's a game where Miami led by 10. They were doing well in the first half. They got off to that quick start, was able to hold off Virginia for the most part until the end there. And disappointing that Miami wasn't able to get a win here. As you're trying to stay at the top, you were able to take it. Hopefully, you were going to be able to take advantage of a loss by Notre Dame, but now they're certainly in the mix. And 6 teams are here, firmly here. Wake Forest with the win today, and then Virginia as well. Who, like I said, they've won 5 of 6. It's not updated here. Virginia's 11-6. So you see in Miami's 11-5. So all these teams are right at the top. It does feel like, and it has felt like Duke's going to go ahead and be that top seed. But again, getting that top 4 is big. All these teams, it's big, anywhere from 2 to 6, because all these teams are essentially in the same category in terms of the NCAA tournament. So vaulting up to that number 2 spot would certainly be big for Miami, for any team. So lost opportunity. There's things to correct offensively and defensively. Cam McGusty said it there, or Jordan Miller said it, where coach tells them, treat wins and losses the same. He wants to keep this team even keeled. Again, they'd won the last 3 games, so they had been riding high on that. You just got to make sure you come back. They got a quick turnaround with that Tuesday game, but Pitt does as well. So both teams on this similar, going to be on the similar schedule. So I'm going to wrap this up. Any more comments, definitely drop below. If something comes to your mind, definitely we'll chat more about this. But thanks everybody for watching, and I'll definitely get these audio things taken care of now that I know kind of what went wrong in this one. So thanks for your patience. Thanks for your understanding. Hopefully you have a good one, and take care.